Hey, Mr. Parka here for a second edition of Frantic Friday, which is essentially the day of the week where I'll review whatever I'm watching, whatever the hell I feel like it, from small movies, obscure movies, foreign movies, to big movies, to new movies, to old movies, to whatever I feel like. So this week is Howl, which I actually picked up at Walmart, and I saw the trailer and I was like, that looks iffy. It looks like it could be interesting. It looks like it could be pretty good. Did some research, saw it was the same director of Seasoning House, which I think is actually a pretty good movie. I think it's pretty twisted at a lot of ways, but there's a lot of satisfaction in the revenge in it, so I ended up pretty much liking that one. So when I put in Howl, I didn't know what to think. From the trailer, it looked iffy, but I must say that I'm pleasantly surprised with the movie. I didn't... Essentially what we have here is a guy who's really unhappy with his job. It's a British film, and he works in at a train station. He's just sick of it. He lost the supervising bid, so he's bitter. He's a bitter guy, and he has to work a double. He's working his double, and he's filled with a lot of people that don't seemingly... They're not very nice. They're not good people, seemingly, on the surface. And essentially what happens is the train comes to a halting stop in the middle of the woods. It appears that they hit something. And from the title, you guys can guess what's out lurking in the woods. Yeah, it is a werewolf. Essentially, the movie, what it does well is it sets up these characters and kind of wants you to show that their camaraderie over the film, that they've kind of developed a bond and whatnot. The film is kind of strange because really all the characters are serious. There's not much humor in the movie, but there is one comical character who does, I must admit, seem a little out of place. Mostly I am kind of upset at movies that don't incorporate humor, because I believe humor is a part of everyday life. Almost every movie, even if it is very disturbing, has a little slice of humor in it. This one, it didn't really have so much except that character that seemed out of place, but that didn't bother me in here. I actually enjoyed the movie thoroughly. It sets up the characters, and I actually felt attached to a lot of these characters. It's a siege movie. They're trapped in the train, barricading it off while the werewolf's trying to get in. I'm going to try to limit this and not spoil much for you. As far as the creature design is concerned, I had a love-hate relationship with it. On one hand, I liked a lot of the stuff they did, especially when they showed glimpses of it, like its feet and its hand. They looked great, set up a lot of good suspense. And then on the other hand, later when they showed a lot more of the creature, I was a little disappointed. And without giving too much away, later on in the fog and stuff like that, they look really cool. It looks nice, but kind of like something at points like Demon Knight. Meets kind of something like that. Demon Knight meets a werewolf at points. I like the mythology the movie sets up. There's a couple characters that give these nice speeches. The kind of Cooper of the movie from, Night of the Living Dead's Cooper. There's kind of a Cooper in all these movies where everybody works together, but there's always that one dickhead that refuses to, and it makes the humanity versus humanity situation. I think that there's a scene in the movie that kind of makes him even more unlikable than he had to be. I think that it would have felt more realistic if he was just, a kind of shade of gray that he appeared to be, and then they push him over the limit with a couple scenes. Towards the end, I think that his motivations were okay, what he was doing towards the end, even though it does get a little over the top. But there's a great scene where these group of characters work together and they attack the creature at the same time, and it's a beautifully done scene. I was actually really well done in the fact that it got me excited and really tense moment. The gore is pretty good, actually, for times. There's some CGI splatter. I think I spotted in there a couple times, but for the most part, the leg wound was horrific looking. I actually felt bad for these people. As far as the sound design goes, I like the howls. They were kind of creepy and whatnot, but they had the creaking door, the gate door sound that's in every movie. It's like the Wilhelm scream of doors. It just drives me nuts. I hate it and everything, from the biggest movies to the smallest movies. Just not for me. But besides that, I didn't have many complaints. When the characters bit it, I felt bad. The monsters are so-so. At one hand, I like how they look. On the other hand, I'm like, eh. But I like the atmosphere. I like the setup. I like the mythology. I do think that they spilled the cup a little bit. I guess that's the term I'm going to use. I made that up. But, I guess dropped the ball a tiny bit on the old couple. I thought it was going somewhere else, and I thought that would have been beautiful, that they were together forever, and maybe something else could have been pushed a little bit more, but they went another way with it. And when the old lady, I'm going to avoid spoilers, but, you know, stuff like that, I think that they could have done something a little different. I was hoping it would go in a different direction. But regardless, I think Howl is worth your time. It's definitely a B-movie style. Strangers on a train, trapped by a werewolf, you know, siege movie type deal. But, yeah, it's pretty cool. Gory, kind of a little bit scary, you know, action-esque movie, but that is Howl. I'm Mr. Parka. Thank you very much for watching, and check me out next Friday for another Frantic Friday review.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is your guard speaking. I'd like to welcome you aboard the 2359 service to Eastborough.
Tickets, please.
Can I see your ticket, please?
Thank you.
It was such a great night. You should have been there.
This is the driver. Seems we hit something on the line. We should be on our way shortly.
We seem to have broken down just outside Eastborough.
What does the driver say?
Is the train broken down or not?
He's working on it.
The station can't be more than, what, 2 miles walk? We follow the tracks, we'll all stay together. I don't see there'd be a problem.
What is it?
Run!
Back on the train, everyone!
Go, go, go! It's coming! Shut them! Just a train full of bear bait.
It wasn't a bear. Bears don't howl.